By golly, it's down the road we go. Happy Wednesday, everybody. The 31st and final day of July 2019. Yeah, we're almost done with July. August will make its presence felt come tomorrow. The weather is going to feel just like it normally does in July and August. It's going to be sunny, going to be warm, but we cannot rule out the possibility of a red flag warning. It could happen. Combination, of course, warm temperatures, low relative humidity, and gusty winds. That's the mixture, the recipe, if you will, for a red flag warning. There is not one right now, but it could happen. Not expecting a great deal of wind today, nor really tomorrow, but Friday is the next possible wind event. So we're going to keep a very close eye on the fire risk on Friday. We'll get more in depth on that when we get to the weather forecast here in just a couple of minutes. Happy day to you. It's a good day for everybody around the NCW Live channel because it's the last day of the month, and that's the day I shower. So all my coworkers will be happy to know that my personal hygiene today is impeccable. Speaking of impeccable personal hygiene, a couple of our friends in law enforcement came by and visited me yesterday. We taped our conversation segment. We're going to air it in the back half of the hour. National Night Out is back again for the 36th year as a nationwide event. It's been going on here in the Wenatchee Valley for about a dozen years. The individual law enforcement agencies kind of trade off on who gets to host each year. Everybody shows up, but this year, new location. It's going to be at the East Wenatchee Community Park, and to talk about that in the back half of the show is going to be Tyler Caille, who is the undersheriff of Douglas County, and also Ray Coble, of course, is the assistant chief of the East Wenatchee Police Department. So Tyler and Ray dropped by yesterday to talk about National Night Out and other law enforcement things, and we'll have that conversation for you in the back half of the hour. Mariners are playing pretty good baseball. They won again last night. We'll talk about that when we get to sports. Apple Sox, of course, had the day off yesterday. They have a non-league game today. Then they're off again on Thursday, and then they head into the stretch run of the pennant race, so to speak, for the West Coast League. We'll talk about that when we have sports. Plus, we always have the obscure holiday, today in history, birthdays, and everybody is entitled to Mike McNaughty's opinion. It's just about 3 minutes after the hour. Let's go around the valley with our Valley View cameras, get things going the right way with that incredible view of the Wenatchee Valley. Pull back a little bit. That's our cross camera, of course. That's a 4K camera. We have most of these are just regular high-definition cameras, but we do have a few of them that are 4K cameras, which is 4 times the resolution of a regular high-definition camera, which means when we zoom in and out, pan, tilt, and zoom, we get really spectacular footage. And that is one of the cameras that does, in fact, film in 4K. It also means it costs $4,000, give or take a couple. I'm not really sure. The sun is bathing Badger Mountain, Birch Mountain, the Sunny Slope area, the Wenatchee Valley proper. We're looking good on this, the last day of July. Summer is just flying right by. But it has been a cooler than normal summer. That's the way it is, statistically speaking. It has not been a particularly hot summer. I'm okay with that. Now, that's the one camera that we always begin with. Now, the other 3 cameras that we're about ready to show, I don't know what they are. Megan gets to decide, and I have to guess what it is. It's almost like a game show. So 3M says, let's go visit Apple Annie's, and we're doing that right now. Good morning, Cashmere. Thanks for joining us. You can see almost all of Cashmere from that incredible view above the Apple Annie's Antique Mall. Wenatchee River, the highway. A lot of folks, of course, live in the Cashmere area, and they commute the 6.5 miles or so into the Wenatchee Valley for their jobs, or whatever the case may be. Good morning, Cashmere. Mount Cashmere is looking good right there, isn't it? Good to have you on board. Camera number 3. We are off to see the wizard, the wonderful wizard of Nason Ridge. Good morning. Of course, you can see the power lines. That's how I immediately identify that area. Skeeters aren't too bad. They're pretty much done with the mosquitoes this time of the year, but there's still a couple of pockets of them out there. The beautiful Lake Wenatchee area. I love Lake Wenatchee. I got to get back up there. Haven't been up there in a while. Shame on me. Got to get up there and play Kaler Glen and just enjoy Mother Nature in the Lake Wenatchee area. Good morning to those folks. And finally, camera 4. We're going to say hello to Billy Goat. Maybe my favorite camera. It's certainly, from an elevation standpoint, that baby is way, way up there, and it points basically to the northeast as it just follows the Columbia River. The Met Howe empties into the Columbia right there at the bottom of your screen next to the lovely hamlet of Pateros. A little bit farther up, you can see Brewster. Of course, Bridgeport is tucked behind the bar. Can't quite make out the Gamble Sands Golf Course, which I have not played again this year. You can see the Alta Lake Golf Course. You can even see Alta Lake if you squint And way off in the distance, right in the middle of your screen, that little bump that's sticking up there is Mount Kalispell, which is in Canada. That's how far you can see with that incredible camera. We've talked about this before. People want to say, Ken, since you can move the camera around, why don't you move it a little bit to the left so we can see up the Methow Valley? Well, that's where the support tower is. These cameras don't float in the air. They have to be anchored to something, and that the tower that camera is attached to is actually to the left, and so if we move the camera to the left, you wouldn't see anything. That's just the nature of the beast. Good morning, Pateris. Good morning, Brewster. Good morning, Bridgeport. Good morning to all of our friends in the upper part of our viewing area. Thanks for starting your day with us. 6 minutes after the hour from the National Weather Service. Your forecast looks just like it has been all this week. We're doing it all over again. It's going to be dry and sunny and warm all through eastern Washington, all through Thursday. Take a look at Friday. You see that cool down there. And there is a Friday fire risk that we need to talk about. There you go. Thursday afternoon all the way through Friday, we could see a red flag warning. So if there's a fire that gets going, it could get out of control. It's not good at all because it's going to be a little breezy. Now for the Wenatchee Valley itself, not so windy. The Columbia Basin, yeah, you're going to be dealing with more winds than us here in the Wenatchee Valley. As far as thunderstorms are concerned, really not seeing that. Just the slightest of slight chances for thunderstorms Thursday night into Friday. But it is going to be a little breezy on Friday. Not so much for the Wenatchee Valley, but other locations are going to find some widespread windy conditions. And then we heat right back up again by the time we get to Sunday, early next week. Look at that. 95, 97, 94. It is July and August. That's what we got. Yesterday's high was 90. Just about normal. Our normal high right around 89 or 90 for this time of the year. Last night's overnight low was 66. Our normal overnight low would be 63, so everything panning out just about normal. However, sunrise this morning was at 5:38. Sunset tonight at 8:36, so we're now below that 15-hour mark. It's now 14 hours and 58 minutes of daylight. We're losing just about 2 minutes of daylight a day this time of the year. But outside of that, sunny and warm, a little breezy to windy conditions at times on Friday, and that's pretty much all we have to worry about. And then it's going to get hot on Saturday and especially Sunday and Monday of next week. High pressure is large and in charge. It is 8 minutes after the hour. We're about ready to take a break, but before we do so, we want to thank our friends at Confluence Health for bringing this show to you. Confluence Health, dedicated to providing safe, quality health care for everybody in North Central Washington. Thank you, Confluence Health, for sponsoring Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. What made news on this Tuesday? Last Tuesday, yesterday? I'll let you know in 1 minute. Come back and join me. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley live this morning from Studio 8 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Live channel.
When the people you serve are your friends and family, you see the world a bit differently. You understand that your survival depends on the health and strength of your relationships. Your word is your reputation, and that doing the right thing is the only way of life that matters. At Confluence Health, we remain humble. Trust is a gift that is earned, a privilege, an honor. And we remain grateful for the trust you place in our hands.
Hi, I'm Jim Heinlein, agent here at Senior Insurance Services of North Central Washington, where we like to teach our customers how to shop and compare from all the Medicare options. Now, a lot of folks will come in and tell me, Jim, I'm so confused about all these choices. In fact, there's 21 reasons you can join a Medicare plan. But we want to focus on the specific plan that's right for you. So if that's what you need, give us a call at Senior Insurance, 888-2600, or visit one of our 5 locations.
Nine minutes after the hour, fair skies 65 degrees, lower 90s today, lower 90s on Thursday, upper 80s on Friday with a little bit of wind, and then a very warm trend comes up for the weekend. Here's what's making headlines on this Wednesday. This week marks the 1-year anniversary of the Chelan Hills fire that blackened over 1,800 acres and burned 9 structures in Douglas County. What caused the fire from last year? We don't know. It remains a mystery, according to the findings of a year-long investigation by the State Department of Natural Resources. Investigators say the fire started back on July 27th of last year from an undetermined cause near the intersection of Highway 97 and Chelan Hills Acres Road. The fire triggered the closure, of course, of Highway 97 and resulted in level 3 evacuations for scores of homeowners. The final investigation ruled out lightning, ruled out debris burning, or other possible sources of ignition. The lead investigator, Terry Liebrecht with the DNR, says in his final report that pending any new leads or evidence, the case will remain open but inactive. Well, the 150-acre Devore Creek fire burning near Lake Chelan area just south of Stehekin saw minimal fire growth and activity yesterday. However, it is still an active fire, and it's over the coming days. The ground crews are going to be continuing to improve the existing protection line as a preparedness measure. An incident management team takes over the command of the fire, by the way. Later on today, there are currently 55 fire personnel working in the fire, which is burning entirely within the Glacier Peak Wilderness at an elevation of 8,000 feet. The U.S. Forest Service says some smoke may be visible in the Lake Chelan area over the next few days. Well, as fire danger increases as the heat rises, the Forest Service has tightened restrictions on campfires, but they haven't completely banned them. Starting tomorrow, visitors to the Okanagan-Wenatchee forest lands are only allowed to have campfires in designated recreation sites with proper fire structures. The restrictions are in place from Natchez to the Methow Valley, and they start tomorrow, Thursday, August 1st. A complete list of designated recreation sites and approved devices can be found on the Forest Service website. Well, the Washington State Department of Fish and Wildlife officials there, they're responding to more reports of wolf-related livestock deaths in the northeastern part of the state. Our very own senior news correspondent Steve Hare filed this report.
The Capitol Press reports the agency confirmed last Friday 3 more calves were preyed upon while grazing in an allotment on the Colville National Forest. The article said the state reports the pack is responsible for the deaths of at least 6 calves and probably a 7th since July 13th. Now, the livestock are owned by the Diamond M Ranch. Agency officials say the depredation continued even after the rancher used non-lethal measures to prevent conflicts. The ongoing clashes have fueled increasing calls to delist the gray wolves as a federal endangered species. Commissioner Bob Boogert favors a proposal to transfer management of the wolf population to the state.
So it provides tremendous flexibility once it is under state jurisdiction, under their management authority. Because the Endangered Species Act, as we well know, can be a very restrictive tool for protection of a given species. And so to take them off that federal listing does provide quite a bit more latitude for the State Department of Fish and Wildlife to more effectively manage them and really to work with the communities then to come up with appropriate management techniques.
Since September 5th, Fish and Wildlife confirms at least 26 cattle deaths attributed to the so-called Opt Pack, which is comprised of 4 adults and at least 4 pups. Last fall, 2 members of that pack were shot and killed by Fish and Wildlife officers. Cattlemen tell the Capitol Press wolves have reduced the deer and elk populations and are turning now to livestock for food. Steve Hare, NCW Life News.
Thank you for that report, Steve. A Puyallup man's jet ski took an 80-foot plunge over a juvenile fish bypass at Wanapum Dam last week. Fortunately, he wasn't on the jet ski. The Grant County PUD says 51-year-old Brian Schultz, he launched his Yamaha Wave Runner at Frenchman Coulee on the Columbia River. This happened on July 22nd, but about 4 miles downstream, he encountered a fast-moving current and whitecaps that was whipped up by strong winds. He fell off his jet ski after he hit a particularly large whitecap. He did make it to shore, but the Wave Runner didn't. It continued right on past the dam safety barrier, and dam operators watched as it went flying through the bypass spill gate. That spill gate dumps about 20,000 cubic feet of water per second. Dam workers recovered the craft as it was bobbing in moss-covered rocks along the shoreline. They found Schultz's contact information in a bag, so they called Schultz, who later arrived. He found the Wave Runner relatively unscathed. He started it up and he rode it to the nearest boat launch. The police chief of the small town of Republic, who gained national fame for refusing to enforce Washington's new gun laws, is now running for governor. Lauren Culp is an Army veteran and a former drill instructor. He announced his intentions over the weekend. Coble says the state's lawmakers have violated their oath of office by passing laws that restrict individual rights. He was the state's first law enforcement officer to say he would not enforce voter-improved Initiative 1639, which imposes several new gun restrictions. He appeared several times on Fox News. He also wrote a book about his stance called American Cop. And finally, in this morning's feature story, we continue our look at this week's edition of the NCAA Life Channel magazine, produced by our very own Caitlin Hedersheet. She's profiling local artists, including Jan Cook Mack. She's a very well-known Wenatchee artist. She has works all over north central Washington, from vast local landscapes to mural work and everything in between. Let's take a look.
It took a long time to get used to the different scale. And when I moved out here, there was a mountain that was just outside. We lived on Eagle Rock, and I said, well, what's the name of that mountain? And they just said, well, that's only 3,000 feet high. It has no name. So I found it really intriguing. You drive up the top of Birch Mountain Road, and so you get this view, and you wouldn't have this kind of distant view back east. My name is Jan Cook Mack, and I used to live in upstate New York as Jan Cook, so I painted a lot there before I moved out here. And so when I got married, I added Mack to my name, and wasn't sure I'd be able to paint out here, but the landscape's really pretty incredible. I lived in like the country, and I was painting, do I have one? Yeah, that one. See, the one under the window is a painting of Mount Anthony, and I was only a few miles from Bennington, Vermont. I did live in New York for a while, but it's really hard to be integrated into that system unless you live there all the time. And I was more of a country person.
Her own children became the subject of her paintings as they were growing up, something Jan says they somewhat tolerated but weren't shy about sharing their opinions.
I wanted to, paint them as they grow up. Let's see, I took a photo of him, but the landscape had a double rainbow during a snowfall. And I thought, oh, that's really cool, so I'll put that in. And then I don't know what made me put the pears in, I guess because of their color and light. He's 7, remember? He said, you're just gonna have to do this again because everybody knows my hair's not green. See, and I said, but the green is the reflection of the light on your hair. Mom, it really looks like my hair is green and nobody's gonna go for that. So I'm gonna sit for you. And he sat for the one with the orchids behind it. And he sat for 15 minutes. He said, okay, I bet you have it by now. And I thought, great. So he went over and watched TV, and I filled in more stuff. And I said, would you just come back so I can work on it a little more? And so he did. He came back. And he probably sat there for, I don't know, a couple hours over a period of time. So, but you can see I got his hair brown now. I got it right.
This week's edition of the NCAA Life Channel magazine featuring local artists doing good work. And you can check it out numerous occasions throughout the course of this week and right on into the weekend by watching this very television station, the NCAA Life Channel. Or you can watch it on demand by going to our website at ncwlife.com, and you can watch that show or any of our shows at your leisure. That includes this program, that includes all of our sports broadcasts, special presentations, all of the locally produced programs, and there are a lot of them that we do here at the NCW Life Channel. You can watch them all on demand by going to our website at ncwlife.com. And that includes our evening news, which is our most watched program. We're very proud of it. Grant Olson in the anchor chair also handles the weather forecast. Eric Granstrom does sports. You can watch the news tonight at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock right here on TV, 5, 6, and 10. Our 3 airings of the NCAA Life Evening News. You can also watch it, as I just mentioned, on demand. We'll have it up and running late in the afternoon by going to our website at ncwlife.com. And our website is a tool you can use to get a hold of us. Just look at the bottom of your screen. Go to our website, click on the Contact Us icons, fill out the form, and we'll get it. You can email us. We'd love to hear from you. news@ncwlife.com. If you have a news tip, news@ncwlife.com. Or if you just want to drop a line and say hi. You can also go to our Facebook page and use the messenger and let us know about it. Pick up the telephone and give us a call. All the tools that are normally available to you to get a hold of us. We love to hear from you, our viewers. And believe me, we hear from you, our viewers. We hear you loud and clear. Just about 21 minutes after the hour, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we got sports. How did the Apple Sox do last night? Well, they didn't play, but we still have an update on the pennant race for the West Coast League as they head into the home stretch. We'll also got the obscure holiday today and history birthdays. Everybody is entitled to Mike McNally's opinion, and we're talking National Night Out with Tyler Caille and Ray Coble. All of that coming up between now and 8 o'clock. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
I told Miss Nielsen about Simon. He's the best doctor because I like the medicines like he gives me.
He asks like more questions, and that's why I feel like he's more interested in the health. For me, it means a lot. That means he really cares about, about him.
I like you, Simon, and you're my best friend.
No matter what the season is, the weather is always fine at Wenatchee Valley Mall. Come explore the stores today. Wenatchee Valley Mall in East Wenatchee and online at WenatcheeValleyMall.com. Welcome back on this Wednesday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I'm Dan Kuntz. Let's do sports at 22 minutes after the hour. Even though the Wenatchee Apple Sox did not play last night, they lost a little bit of ground in their fight to make the WCL playoffs. The team the Apple Sox are chasing in the West Coast League's North Division is Victoria. As you see there, they beat Caldas last night, 12-3, as Nick Paella had a 2-run homer and 4 RBIs. So that pushes the Harbor Cats 0.001 percentage point ahead of Wenatchee in the division's second half race. Now, the Apple Sox lead over Bellingham in the overall standings for the second and final playoff spot in the division. That's down to 1.5 games after the Bells knocked off Ridgefield last night, 10-9. Bellingham plated 7 runs in the second inning, highlighted by Derek Marshall's 3-run home run. So let's take a look at the overall standings, and you see Wenatchee 24-21. Bellingham is 21-21. Port Angeles still alive at 19-23. And as we go back to the Les Schwab scoreboard, the lefties Dwayne Engelbrandt pitched 6 innings of scoreless baseball to lift Port Angeles over Kelowna 4-3. Down in Corvallis, Zach Needham's 2-run home run highlighted a 3-run fourth inning. Bend made it hold up a 3-2 victory over the Knights. Portland brought 10 men to the plate in a 4-run fourth inning, went on for a 5-4 win over Walla Walla. 7 of the 9 in the lineup got a hit for the Pickles, who bounced back from, of course, being swept over the weekend by Wenatchee. And in non-league play, Highline erupted for 5 runs in the 6th inning to beat Yakima Valley 6-1. The Pippins have lost 3 in a row. And since we're talking about the Pippins, we're going to have, of course, Wenatchee's game versus Yakima Valley right here live Saturday on the NCW Live channel. Pre-game begins at 6:15. First pitch at 6:35. Eric Granstrom and a cast of thousands for all the action Saturday right here on the NCW Live channel. Okay, let's go back to the the West Coast League's North Division standings. See where we are, courtesy of Les Schwab. Victoria and Wenatchee, they're on top. But again, the Harbor Cats have a slim edge, a mere 1,000th of a point in the winning percentage to lead. Port Angeles is lurking 2 games back. Yakima Valley 4.5 games out. Then Kelowna, and finally Bellingham. The Apple Sox take their final step out of league play. It's a game tonight against the Cascade Collegiate team. These 2 teams met to open the season back in June. Wenatchee came out on top of that one, 10-1. In fact, the Apple Sox are 4-0 in non-league games this year and have averaged 12 runs per game in those contests. The Cascade Collegiate Showcase team, they are 0-3 against West Coast League teams. They've lost to Wenatchee, Yakima Valley, and Walla Walla. First pitch tonight, 6:35. Let's talk Mariners. Kyle Seager was just a double shy of the cycle. The Mariners make it 6 in a row now. They beat Texas down in Arlington, the final yesterday. 8-5 last night. Seager's 2-run triple in the 7th broke the 5-5 tie. He also had his 9th home run of the season. In the top of the 2nd inning, Austin Nola upped his batting average to .333 with 3 hits. Daniel Vogelbach drove in a run on a couple of hits. The teams wrap up their quick 2-game series tonight, 5:05. Mike Minor will go for the Rangers. We don't know who the starter is for the Mariners. To the American League West. Last night, the Les Schwab scoreboard looked something like this. Justin Verlander and 2 relievers combined on a 2-hit shutout of Cleveland. Houston won 2-0. And picking up his 14th win of the season, Verlander struck out 13. Matt Thaiss, 2 for 3 with a 2-run home run. He led the LA Angels past Detroit 6-1. Shoshi Ohtani, also 3 for 4 for the Halos with a run and an RBI. And Oakland walked off against Milwaukee. Matt Olson's home run in the bottom of the 10th. The difference, the A's win 3-2. Let's talk football. Day 5 of training camp Tuesday, the first day in full pads. And offensive tackle Dwayne Brown said it finally felt good to hit someone.
It's always exciting. You know, guys been waiting all year to really get physical and hit, and that's kind of when you get to really evaluate where you are, especially us up front. It really changes the tempo for us. Our defensive line is looking really good, so it's good competition.
So competitive. Do you cross over the line of scrimmage and give pointers to the pass rushers in a situation like that?
Yeah, all the time. You know, I've been in the league 12 years. I've faced every kind of defender. You know, I've seen everything that works, everything that may not work, and we're all on the same team. You know, I'm trying to help them get better. They're trying to help me get better. You know, and I'll give them tips on, you know, things that I'm doing and how to beat it. And if they get me on it, so be it. You know what I mean? It'll help them on Sunday. And it's just all about just working with each other.
Brown says he expects the offensive line to be as good as they've been in a long time because they've had a lot of time to work together.
I've been on record saying, you know, more than once, I think we can be the best group in the league. Continuity is very, very important. Just building that chemistry and, you know, being able to communicate, knowing what the guy next to you is going to do in certain situations. We also have a lot of depth, you know, so in case, you know, injuries happen, you know, in this game it happens. You know, you have somebody step in and able to fill their shoes and still perform at a high level. So that's what we're blessed with in our room. We have a lot of depth, a lot of players that are talented.
That Dwayne Brown guy, he's built a lot like me, isn't he? Have you noticed that? Countdown continues. The first preseason game of the year for the Seahawks. 1 week from tomorrow, the Broncos at CenturyLink Field. And those are just some of the games that people are playing on this Wednesday. It's just about 28 minutes after the hour. Let's do the obscure holiday of the day today. Today is National Mutt Day. We're going to celebrate National Mutt D. Forgot to resize that. Mutts are special. To me, mutts are more special than pure breed dogs. They should have the same love and respect that pure breeds dogs. Of course, there are millions and millions of mixed breed dogs all over the place. Many of them are shelters waiting to be adopted. That's why we do kennel cameos on Thursdays. See if we can get these dogs homes. In fact, 8 out of every 10 dogs in America, 80% of all dogs in this country are mixed breed dogs. Pure breeds are adopted rather easily. Most of them come from puppy mills. Who's kidding who? Nobody wants to do that. You know, that's not good at all. Why are mixed breed dogs the way to go? I got a number of reasons for you. Mixed breed dogs, on average, have longer lifespans than purebred dogs. Mixed breed dogs usually have better overall health. They have a unique appearance, of course, because they're mutts. They're also generally less expensive than pure breed dogs. And quite frankly, they're cooler, in my opinion. Get yourself a mutt today. Most dogs are mutts, and we love our mutts. It is National Mutt D today. 29 minutes after the hour. Today in history, this is the 49th anniversary of the very last Huntley-Brinkley report. The Huntley-Brinkley report ended after 14 years with the retirement of Chet Huntley. One of the great myths and misconceptions in television news of the 1960s is that everybody watched Walter Cronkite in the CBS Evening News. That is not the case. From about 1958 till about 1968, for that 10-year period, the Huntley-Brinkley report was by far the most watched nightly newscast in this country. In fact, by 1965, the Huntley-Brinkley report brought in more advertising revenue than any other show on television. They dominated the ratings, but the Huntley-Brinkley report came to an end 49 years ago today, July 31st, 1970. Chet Huntley retired, went back to his native Montana, died just 4 years later. Of course, David Brinkley stayed with NBC for another 10 years or so, and they went on to a great career at ABC. The Huntley-Brinkley report, the newscast of its time. Came to an end on this date 49 years ago today. And 48 years ago today, during the Apollo 15 moon landing, astronauts became the first to ride in a lunar rover. In fact, for 3 Apollo missions, Apollo 15, 16, and 17, they all brought up those things, those lunar rovers. They had to put them together. They got to drive them around the surface. The idea is they could cover a lot more square miles in a lunar rover than just walking. That's why they did it. Of course, these lunar rovers, these were one-way vehicles. They traveled with the astronauts. The astronauts built them. They drove them around. And then when they came back to Earth, they left them there. All 3 of those lunar rovers are still on the surface of the moon. We've left a lot of stuff on the surface of the moon. We've left a lot more stuff up there than we brought back. Happened on this date 48 years ago today. And finally, we got some birthdays for you. One historic birthdays. Ahmet Ertegun was born in the state of 1923. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, class of 1987. The founder of Atlantic Records, the definitive rhythm and blues, jazz and blues label of the 1950s and 60s. All the greats recorded for Atlantic, from Ray Charles to Otis Redding to the legendary Aretha Franklin and everybody in between. Even Led Zeppelin, Crosby, Stills, and Nash, they all recorded for Atlantic Records, and it was because of that man, Ahmet Ertegun, one of those few record executives who really love music. He was born in the state of 1923, passed away a few years ago at the age of 83. J.K. Rowling celebrates birthday today. There she is. She is 54 years old today. Rowling, let's call the whole thing off. She, of course, created the Harry Potter series, and she was the first ever person, male or female anywhere, to earn $1 billion by writing books, the first billionaire author. She's no longer a billionaire because she's been endeavoring, JK has, to give away her fortune. She's been doing quite a bit of that, giving it away to charity, but she's still one of the wealthiest people around. And of course, the Harry Potter series is by far the best-selling book series in history. Happy 54th to JK, and happy 40th to BJ Novak. Everybody remembers him as Ryan Howard on The Office, but he is a great screenwriter. He directs, he produces, he does it all. He's multi-talented, and he's just a kid. He's only 40. Happy birthday to BJ. So we had JK and BJ celebrating birthdays today. Gonna take a break. When we come back, Mike McNally's got something on his mind. We'll find out with Everyone is Entitled to Mike McNally's Opinion. And then my conversation with Tyler Caille and Ray Coble. They are both highly respected law enforcement officers, and they're coordinating this year's National Night Out. That conversation is also on the docket. When we come back, you're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley live this morning from Studio 42 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Life Channel.
Some exciting changes are happening at Davis Furniture in downtown Wenatchee. We've decided to remodel our showrooms, but in order to accomplish our goal, over $2 million worth of top-quality home furnishings must be sold off immediately. Our entire inventory is deeply discounted up to 60% off to sell fast. If you've been thinking about new furniture, now is the time to buy. Don't miss the biggest sale in our 40-year history. Going on now at Davis Furniture and Mattress in downtown Wenatchee.
The Cottage Inn has been a Wenatchee Valley landmark since 1940, making it one of the longest-running locally owned restaurants around. And it's better than ever. Steak, seafood, and their famous homemade desserts for dinner, wonderful lunch items, and breakfast on Sundays, all made from scratch and at an affordable price. It's no wonder the Cottage Inn has been so popular for over 75 years. Enjoy a fabulous meal today at the Cottage Inn on Easy Street in Old Station.
Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning has been proudly serving the Wenatchee Valley for over 35 years. And just as Dick's has been there for you, they have also been an essential part of our community, supporting local youth sports all year long and your Wenatchee Wild.
Thanks for your support. Thanks, Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, for all your support. Thank you.
Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, your local, independent, trained comfort specialist. Call 884-6444 today.
You don't have to be a member to enjoy the view and dine-in style at Highlander Bar and Grill in East Wenatchee. Open 7 days a week, Highlander Grill offers breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Dine in or take it to go, our friendly staff is here to serve you. Reservations recommended for Friday night's prime rib dinner. Call for live music dates. Hi, I'm Shalane, site coordinator for Highlander Grill. Give me a call to schedule your event today.
My name is Anaisa Lemus, and I teach at John Newberry Elementary. I had a tooth in the front that was just always causing me problems. It was just happening so regularly. I went to go get a root canal done, and the root canal didn't help a whole lot because then it came back. Both of my parents went to Dr. Divis's office. They really recommended him because he had done such a great job on their teeth. I went and really have had a really pleasant experience with him. He just made me feel really at ease with everything. He was really confident with what he was doing. He said, you know, this is one of his favorite parts of his job, which really made it easier for me because, you know, when you're really passionate about something, you know, they're going to do a good job. As a teacher, my students, you know, I'll tell them randomly sometimes, oh yeah, with my fake tooth. They're always so shocked. Like, what? It looks like your real tooth. And I'm really happy with the results now.
This is Dr. John Divis. Please call us today.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnati, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, how we men perceive our behaviors with our wives can have a huge effect, not only on our relationships, but on how we end up being the man who we want to be. Now, working with a couple recently, the wife was weeping in rage due to her husband's insensitive behavior. Now, he looked at me and he said, I'm not doing anything wrong. What am I supposed to do? Be a wimp and just do everything she tells me to do? I told him, hey, stop being stupid and face the fact that you're insisting on doing what you want to do is being hurtful to a person who you claim to love, a woman who we promised to protect and cherish. I said, maybe you should be willing to let go of what you think your rights are and start showing some love and respect to your wife. Now, that's hardly being a wimp, my friend. That's being a real man. Now, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnati, and that's my opinion.
If you are looking for dependable car service and repair, visit the good guys at Quick Lube and Tune. They've been keeping cars and trucks in the Wenatchee Valley running smooth for 35 years. Quick Lube and Tune is your hometown shop for a 10-minute oil change, complete tune-ups, alignments, brakes, mufflers, air conditioning service, and more. Get more life out of your vehicle by bringing it to the local guys you can trust at Quick Lube and Tune on South Wenatchee Avenue.
With 15,000 square feet to explore, you'll find something special at the Antique Mall at Cashmere. For the do-it-yourselfers and those with a keen eye for making something old fresh and new again, the Antique Mall at Cashmere is the place to come find your next project. From the coin enthusiasts to avid collectors, Antique Mall at Cashmere has treasures in every corner. Come find your treasure today. Antique Mall at Cashmere's friendly staff is here to help. Stop on by today.
Hi, this is Brian Snyder with Black Rock Asphalt Services here in Wenatchee, your local Black Rock seal coat company. Have you looked at your driveway or parking lot lately? Is it gray and oxidized? Does it have cracks that have not been taken care of? Or do you have striping that is pretty much non-existent? Please give us a call locally here, 509-665-9769. Learn more at blackrockasphaltsealcoating.com.
The best pizza in the known universe is right here in downtown Chelan, so come on up. For the best locally crafted beer and barbecue in Chelan, come on up.
For the best down-home scratch country cooking in north central Washington, you'll find it in Manson. Come on up.
Come on up. Come on up.
Come on up.
Welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am Dan Kuntz, your host. Whenever law enforcement pays me a visit, the first question I always ask is, what did I do this time? But no, this is a different kind of an opportunity for you to get to know law enforcement without being handcuffed and put in the back of a patrol car. I'm talking about National Night Out. And for the first time in a long time, the good folks in East Wenatchee will do the honors of hosting National Night Out, which comes up on August. Help me out, Tyler Ray. August 6th. I got it right. To my far left is Ray Coble, who is the Assistant Chief of the East Wenatchee Police Department. To my immediate left is Tyler Caille, who's the Douglas County Under Sheriff to talk about National Night Out. Welcome to the program, gentlemen.
Thank you.
What's the how we are in law enforcement? Everybody behaving themselves in the summer of 2019? Everything okay? How we doing? We being good?
I think so. I think we've had a pretty good summer so far.
Yeah. I've talked to a lot of law enforcement guys on this program, specifically Edgar Reinfeld, Captain Edgar Reinfeld of the Wenatchee Police Department. He says, one of the reasons people like to live here and they move here is that this is a safe area. It's a safe community. Wenatchee, East Wenatchee, Chelan, Douglas County. People want to be safe. They want to know that they're going to be taken care of from a law enforcement standpoint, and you guys do that in spades. Do you not? Do you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
A little background, right? Little folks about how'd you get into law enforcement? Tell the folks a little bit. Tell our television family about you. Right?
All right. Well, I actually started in law enforcement for the city of East Wenatchee back in 1994 as a reserve police officer, and worked through that for a couple of years, and then was able to get a job full time as a deputy sheriff in Arkansas, actually. And moved down there for a few years, and then was able to come back and did some other stuff for a while, and then got back into law enforcement. And I've been with East Wenatchee since 2007 as a full-time officer. So
you like it?
I do.
Yeah,
I do. Yeah, absolutely.
A little something about yourself, Tyler. I know you're new to the undersheriff job. Of course, Douglas County has a new sheriff. Kevin Morris has got the gig. He was voted in by the voters. And then he had to decide, okay, I need a second in command.
Right.
And he picked you.
He did.
How did that work out?
Well, I was just fortunate enough to get the privilege to be asked, and it's an honor to be able to take this position and run with it and kind of make it my own. I started in law enforcement. I don't have as many years on as Ray.
Well, a few people do.
Yeah, I know. I actually started in 2007, and most of my career has all been with Douglas County, but it was always in the north end of Douglas County as a patrol deputy and then the patrol sergeant out of our North District, which is based in Bridgeport, Mansfield area. So, it's a great opportunity, with the undersheriff appointment to, actually get down into the East Wenatchee area more and become I would say even more ingrained with the valley. I've been a lifelong resident of Douglas County, so it's not like it's a new area. It's just a different area to work. So it's a good opportunity.
What are the challenges of law enforcement in an area as rural as the northern part of Douglas County? As you mentioned, Bridgeport, Mansfield area. That's a couple of dots and a bunch of wheat fields. But there's a lot of challenge. Running from emergency to emergency with a big swath of land, it's a significant challenge as opposed to a tightly knit cosmopolitan a community like Wenatchee or East Wenatchee, where everything is pretty right.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, the biggest thing is just the fact that a lot of our patrol shifts in that area, you're working by yourself. It's a huge area, lots of square miles, and you're the only deputy on, and you rely on you yourself and maybe your closest neighbor who might be over 30 miles away for immediate backup. So, it really teaches you to be a self-sufficient officer or deputy. And, it's a great opportunity. It's a great way to grow and learn and, really enhance your skills, in the law enforcement realm.
Rivercom is asking the folks, by the way, in the area that Rivercom serves to just continue their funding. The sunset clause for the current funding mechanism for Rivercom expires at the end of this year. They're not asking for a tax increase. They're asking for just to continue funding Rivercom as it is now. For you guys specifically, communications is a huge key, and they want to upgrade, making sure that folks can get a hold of you in those kinds of situations. There can be no dead spots, right? That's one of the things we're pressing on this.
Absolutely, and there currently still are spots where our deputies still have no communications or very limited communications with Rivercom. So that's the great thing about keeping, with the hopefully the successful passing of that renewal, Rivercom being able to continue the expansion of the radio system and continue the infrastructure upgrades to eliminate those spots. And it benefits every single user agency, and by user agency I mean every law enforcement agency in the two counties, including fire and EMS as well. We all benefit from this. So it's an important key.
Do the people who live in the upper part of Douglas County, I know I'm going off topic a little bit, but this is important because I got Tyler here. They understand simply they've chosen to live in a very rural area. They understand the challenges of law enforcement. Hey, if I need somebody, it could be a while.
They do.
And do they prepare accordingly? They always have like first aid kits on hand and that kind of stuff?
They do. I mean, people that, our residents that live up there, they understand the fact that normally it's a one deputy response. Ambulance might be 20, 30 minutes away. Fire department could be the same. They understand it's not the desire's not there to provide that immediate service. It's just the availability is not always there. It's not like here in the Valley where you have paid personnel to make those immediate responses. So they do, people make the efforts to be more self-sustaining and be able to, kind of hold on to a little bit until help does arrive.
And they're good neighbors. They keep an eye on each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the case in East Wenatchee as well.
Absolutely.
People take pride not only in their community, but in their neighborhoods within their community. They're not afraid to say, I don't think this guy trying to get into somebody's back door has actually locked himself out. I think there's something not quite right there.
And we rely on that a lot, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only so many officers working. We only have so many eyeballs out there, out on the streets, and we're dispersed throughout the whole city. So we rely heavily on our community to keep us informed of things that they see, because they're all out there. They see everything that's going on, and if they can just let us know, we're happy to go take a look and see what actually is going on with the situation. So.
Which ties into National Night Out, which is again coming up on August 6th. There's the logo. It's the 36th nationwide. They've been doing it here for a number of years as well. It's you guys' turn to host, and as I mentioned before at the top of this interview, it's a great opportunity to meet people in law enforcement and association with law enforcement in a much more positive environment, because when people need your help, Ray, or your help, Tyler, it's something's wrong, and it's a different kind of situation as opposed to just we're human beings too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, when people call us, it's usually in the worst moment of their life, and they're having to deal with that situation, and then with us, trying to do our job, and it's much easier, in a situation where there's nothing major going on. We can talk to them, and they can understand that we're human beings too, and give them that realization about what we do for them.
And it's not an easy job, is it?
Not necessarily.
But it's terribly rewarding, isn't it?
It is.
Absolutely.
Yeah. When you go home for the day and you've done a good job, you've done a good job.
Yes.
Yeah. Talk about the program. What can people expect on the 6th? What do we got going?
Well, have my little agenda here, and
you can use cheat sheets. I have no problems with
perfect.
that.
I'm glad. Anyway, we're not going to reinvent the wheel necessarily. If people have attended the event before in the past, we're going to use the same type of layout. Of course, we're very proud that we're having it at East Wenatchee now and at the Eastmont Community Park. We feel like it's a great venue. We have a lot of real estate for vendors and for emergency equipment and some extra things that we're hoping will be there.
Well, Ray, don't say that without teasing me. What do you mean extra things?
Well, we have a line on at least one helicopter.
Yeah, that would be fantastic.
And we're hoping for 2.
Okay.
And Douglas County is actually going to bring their little miniature ladder truck.
Little fire truck.
Little fire truck.
Yeah.
And they're going to give rides to the kids around through the park and stuff too, which hasn't been able to happen at the other venues. But we have, like I said, the real estate, the opportunity, and we're, just some little things like that. We're hoping they'll be a great hit for everyone and at a memorable occasion as well.
Last year's was at Centennial Park downtown, which is a great location, but it was a little cramped.
Right.
You have a little more elbow room this time, which, for instance, you couldn't bring an helicopter into downtown.
No,
Wenatchee last year.
could not.
That wasn't going to happen. What's you mentioned the kids. For the kids, this is a really cool thing for them, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We have little things we're gonna, everyone's bringing stuff to hand out to the kids, especially the law enforcement agencies, and we're wanting to spur that interaction between law enforcement and the children. We want them to know that we're there to help them, and that they don't need to be afraid to come and talk to us. And if they ever have any questions or concerns, we're there for them. That's the main thing.
Kids get to see the inside of a patrol car from the front seat instead of the back seat.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Turn the lights on, hit the siren.
Yeah.
No, it'll be great, and just the fact you get the families to interact with us, like even on a personal level. And, they get to see the different pieces of equipment. Fire, EMS, law, the helicopter. That's going to be a great addition this year. Like you said, Centennial Park. Wenatchee PD and Chelan County, they did a great job in the past hosting it. They just didn't have the venue to allow for such a thing. So we seized the moment this year. And I'm excited that we're going to have at least one. I'm still working on a second one. Okay. If I can get our other local agency down here maybe to
I can make a couple of phone calls.
To facilitate. Not to mention anything but Chief Brett, if you're he might be able to help out.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, we're going to have airlift is going to be the one. Helicopter is going to be here. They're new to the area again, or they're reestablished, I should say, in the area with a helicopter service up at Pangbourne. So they've been very excited to be a part of this year's event, and they're going to have their one helicopter on display. So that's going to be awesome.
And again, it's going to be at Eastmont Community Park, so they have a big spread, basically on off of 3rd Street across the street from Eastmont High School, essentially.
Right,
that big grassy field area.
Well, yeah, and we're closing the street down, so we're going to have a section of 3rd Street closed down just for the equipment displays plus the park area. So we're going to have a large venue to use for the
all
event.
the local law enforcement involved. I mean, all the agencies are going to have at least somebody there.
Yep.
And how do you staff that? Do you get? My guess is it's not too hard to get volunteers to do this, is it?
No. Oh, I've had people approach me and ask if they can help out, and absolutely.
Yeah. What for National Night Out from a personal standpoint? I mean, you must have some. Do you want to plant the seed for some of these kids, 10, 12, 13-year-old kids who might think, I think I might want to be in law enforcement when I grow up? Is that one of the things that might come out of this?
I could see that.
Might be a future colleague that you don't know that you might be helping out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
it's always good to plant seeds.
Yeah, and it's just that, like I said, it's just that opportunity to build that relationship. You know, because like Ray said, a lot of times when citizens and call for help, we're the ones that show up, but it's not always in a positive light.
Right.
You know, and it's great for them to get to see us as human beings, as parents. You know, they know that we have our own kids, our own families.
And you're invested in the community as much as they are.
Absolutely. We live here. This is home for us.
Right.
So, that's the thing. And it's just be able to establish that relationship. So when you see that kid again in the mall or at the grocery store or wherever, they walk up, they're not afraid to approach you.
Yeah.
They're not afraid to, there's the police, I got to look the other way. They'll run up to you, shake your hand, and establish that relationship. So like you said, 10, 12 years down the road, when it's time to make a career choice, that might be law enforcement something they look at because that's a thing they can relate to back in their past. That was a positive experience for them.
One of the curious parts about living in North Central Washington is the overlapping agencies, because that's just the way it is. The Columbia River is a border, and yet all of you guys from Wenatchee to East Wenatchee Police, Douglas, Chelan County Sheriff's, Washington State Patrol, you guys all, somebody yells help, they all come running, don't they?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's important to have that kind of relationship, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
It is. One thing, Sheriff Morris will always tell everybody, we're colorblind in law enforcement. We don't care what color our uniform is. Somebody calls for help, we go. It doesn't matter whether it's a deputy, a trooper, officer, whomever it is, we show up. We go help our brothers and sisters.
How is Sheriff Morris doing in his new gig? Is he settled right into it okay?
He's doing well. Yeah. It's been an exciting year. There's been a lot of good changes. We brought on several new deputies this year with some retirements, and we got a new building we're going to be moving into, a new law and justice facility, which is nearing the end of substantial completion. So we're hoping to move into it by no later than November. And
a new toy box.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a busy year.
Yeah, that's good. What else is while I have you here? Anything else in law enforcement that the folks out there should be aware of as far as crime trending or anything like that, or things that people should be aware of and give you a call if something's not right, or just the usual deal?
A lot of the usual. I know Wenatchee has had some of the same issues as us recently with like tagging and stuff like that, and we'd like to address that as soon as we can. So if folks see that there's new tagging or something out there, we'd like to be made aware of it, so that we can include that into our investigations. So those investigations, it's usually building. We need those different pieces of evidence to build a case on someone. So
don't be afraid to call Rivercom if something just doesn't seem copacetic, because that's what they're there to do. We'll wrap up where we began. I don't want to put you on the spot, Tyler. The Rivercom funding to continue to vote yes on that.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's a vote yes.
Ray, how are you going to vote on that?
I already did.
There you go. 3 people here all voted yes to keep Rivercom funding the way exactly it is supposed to be. One more time, meat and potatoes, date, time, all that good stuff for National Night Out. Ray, I'll let you do the honors.
All right. The event starts at 6 p.m. It's on Tuesday, August 6th, and it'll run till about 7:30. So, folks, come on out and have some fun. Enjoy the time. The park also has their little new splash pad open, so if you have kids,
great.
bring your swimsuits. You can go splash around in the water a little bit too. I mean, it's a full meal deal. Everyone come and have some fun.
Is there a formal program so people be on stage and talking and doing things like
Absolutely.
that?
We'll keep that going as well. We'll have dignitaries, from the agencies up there to answer some questions and stuff. But yeah, we'll have all the normal bells and whistles from National Night Out
Yeah,
that we've
I'm
had
looking
in the
forward
past.
to it. I'm looking forward to it. Tyler, can you run these license plates for me?
Yeah. Okay, we'll take care of those afterwards.
Tyler Caille from the Douglas County Sheriff's Office and Ray Coble from the East Wenatchee Police Department National Night Out is on the 6th. Get there and enjoy. Get to know your law enforcement people on a one-on-one friendly basis as opposed to the other way, which nobody wants to meet law enforcement the other way. I know. Maybe. I'm just kidding. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
Hi everyone, this is Brent Crowder. After 13 years with the Town Auto Group, I have returned home to Town Toyota where it all started. If you're in the market for a new or used vehicle, let me help you find the right one at the right price. Toyota is reliable and trustworthy, and you can count on me to be the same. When it comes to buying your next car, you can't go wrong with Toyota and Crowder. Ask for Brent at Town Toyota or call me now at 888-5000.
Cosmetic surgery and treatment is the most personal of decisions. It is also a field that's evolving at an incredible pace. Dr. Jones, board-certified plastic surgeon, understands that once you arrive at the decision to enhance your appearance, you'll want proven, safe, state-of-the-art technology. You'll find this at Valley Plastic Surgery, delivered by an experienced and caring staff. Dr. Jones and his staff are ready to welcome you.
That's pretty much it. It's a great house, great neighborhood.
It's great. Sam's still getting used to the idea of moving.
Sam, you play basketball?
Yeah.
Let me show you something. Now I'm thinking, you put your hoop right here, and you even got enough room for a three-point line. One of the things I've noticed is that if you got a hoop in your driveway, you make friends real fast.
At Coldwell Banker Levine, our agents don't just understand real estate, they understand what home is all about.
It's always been a dream of mine to own a home. She had credit, I didn't.
And I was like, you know what, let's just go talk and see what we could do to move forward.
We walked into Guild Mortgage. I didn't think home ownership was possible. Tracy had a plan for us. Small things that we could do to establish credit. Honestly, before you knew it, the next step was go home, build your dreams, live happily ever after.
We're back here live from Studio 37 here in downtown Wenatchee on this Wednesday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. It's the last day of July 2019. Here comes August, like it or not. As far as what Mother Nature has in store for us, late July, early August weather. If you've spent any amount of time here in North Central Washington, you get used to that. What you see right there on the screen is going to be dry, it's going to be sunny, it's going to be borderline between warm and hot. I don't know what you would call hot, I guess. Well, according to the graphics, 97 is considered hot there. It's the way it's going to be for the next couple of days. A little bit of cool down on Friday. There's a weak wave that's going to come through. It's not going to knock that high pressure ridge out of alignment, but it is going to cool us down a little bit. But the big key on Friday is going to be the wind. Going to be picking up a little bit, some widespread windy conditions for many people in our viewing area on Friday, Thursday afternoon through Friday, actually. So we do have an elevated wildfire risk. Now, for the Wenatchee Valley, not going to be that windy. It's not going to be bad. It's going to be, 10 to 16, 17 miles an hour, gusts above 20 at times, again, for the Wenatchee Valley. But other places, specifically the Columbia Basin, you could see stronger winds than that on Friday. So that's the one day we're keeping an eye on. We could see a red flag warning issued for Friday. I wouldn't be surprised if we have the combination of low relative humidity, strong winds, and warm temperatures. That's the recipe for a red flag warning. It is a possibility for Friday, actually Thursday night into Friday. That's the only real thing we're keeping an eye on. Outside of that, just sunny and warm. And of course, then the temperatures are going to really heat up by the time we get to the end of the weekend, with lots of sunshine and warm temperatures on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. We haven't hit 100 degrees yet this year, which is pretty odd. Normally we have a couple of days in triple digits. Hasn't happened yet in the summer of 2019. It's been a cool summer, all things considered. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow, provided the show isn't canceled. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.